Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Nerf Ultra Speed. This is an Ultra Blaster, so it fires a different ammo type than we were used to seeing on the channel. It fires the Ultra Darts, which are these little torpedo looking darts, which means that this is the first Ultra Blaster I'm reviewing on the channel. And this blaster is also fully automatic, so this means this is the first full auto blaster I'm reviewing on the channel. So with that all out of the way, let's get started. Alright, let's start off by talking about the box. As usual, we have this little graphic that tells us it's fully motorized, which basically means this blaster continuously fires darts as long as the trigger's held down and the magazine has darts in it. Once it runs out of darts or you let go of the trigger, it will stop firing. So this comes with two 12-round magazines, which is pretty cool. And it shoots these little ultra darts, which we'll get a little bit of a closer look when we get it out of the box. It claims 7 darts per second, which makes it the fastest firing Ultra Blaster. I think there's maybe, there's at least one other fully automatic Ultra Blaster, so. It comes with 24 AccuStrike Ultra Darts. It requires 6 C batteries, so keep that in mind. It has plastic-free packaging. I don't know why I keep mentioning that. And it's 8+. Moving on to the back, we have information on what AccuStrike is. I mean, not really. Basically, for those who don't know, AccuStrike is essentially Nerf designing darts that have a spin to them. So when they fly through the air, they spin and keep straight. They've started out with making the Elite darts, the standard darts, having AccuStrike. That was a while back when they did that. And then they made Mega ones, and now we're on to Ultra. I'm not sure if they did anything for Rival like that. I don't think they did. Rival was pretty accurate, as is, so I don't think they need to make an AccuStrike variant of it. That's enough about the darts. Let's move on to this. In the stock, we have a magazine storage. It's called a clip storage. It's really a magazine. Up top, it has a carry handle and a rail that they don't mention anywhere on the box. So, that's enough of talking about the box. So let's get this thing open. Alright, so with the trend of Nerf trying to keep away the plastic, all the darts are floating around, and here are Ultra Darts. The heads are a little bit squishier than I thought they would be. I thought they'd be a little bit more solid. Anyway. Alright. We have our magazines here. Alright, so here we have the Ultra Speed out of the box. We have our 2 magazines, our instructions, which by the way were in this little box with the darts, which they have just let float around. But here's our Ultra Darts, little torpedo darts, these kind of squishy heads. Yeah, our instructions basically tell you about blaster. In fact, there's a jam door, which when I first got this thing out of the box, the jam door was partially open, which I don't know what's up with that. But there's a jam door. You can see too much inside. Battery compartment is right here. I'll just get the batteries in real quick, and then we can talk about the blaster a little bit more. There we go. Some fresh Energizer Max batteries. This time being prepared, unlike the Fortnite BAR, which is a lot, because some of the other blasters that I know of that are fully automatic usually only require 4 of these. I will admit, these are a little bit hard to get in. Come on. Oh, gosh. There we go. Alright, see if it works without a magazine. Doesn't appear to work with a magazine, but it doesn't need a magazine for the trigger to be pulled. And that is a very small rev trigger. Okay, for a magazine, goes like that. that is intimidating. My goodness. Does it work with the jams are open? Yep. So magazine, jump door, safety locks on it. Oh yeah, we gotta put the magazine in the back here. How do you put this in? Oh, just like that? Okay. So there's our Ultra Speed pretty much fully assembled. Let's get some darts in there and yeah, get this thing downrange and start with the accuracy test. But I completely forgot one thing, and that's loading the thing. It appears that you can only push them down. Usually, when you load magazines, you push them in through the little slot in the back. But this one, we actually have to push down. Which, wait a minute, I think this little button here, what does the button do? You can't really get the darts out, I will say that. You can't really get the darts out of the magazine. This is a very weird magazine. Which, by the way, I only have these 24 Ultra darts, so, wait, that's 1, 2, 3. I only have these 24. Ooh, that's odd. Oh, it just dumps them into this little chamber here. Anyway, back to what I was saying. I only have these 24 Ultra darts, so I will be using them very sparingly in this video. So just a little reminder there. Magazines aren't the most annoying things to load. It's just a little odd that they would redesign the magazine so severely and redesign it to this point where it doesn't seem that familiar to me. I maybe miscounted this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I miscounted. Now there's 12 and 12. Okay. Okay, so the magazines are loaded. So now let's get this thing down range for the accuracy test. Alright, here we are at the accuracy test. As you can see, we have more targets. We have a wide array of targets, cans, bottles, and eggs. I'm not too sure if that video is that video is definitely not going to be out before this one. Still debating if I want to post that one anyway. But here we are. We have the Ultra Speed up and running. Forgot to show this off the rail. They don't mention it, but we have our little rail here, and our eggs fell down. I'm just gonna leave that one up. So there's the rail being used. Completely forgot about it. This thing has a foregrip on it, and let's see if we can hit anything. I was not expecting it to be shooting that fast. The speed test will be very interesting. So I feel like I should just collect all those darts and try again. So look how dirty these things got. They're made of styrofoam, so they have a lot of static on them, so they're like picking up dirt and grass. My goodness, I'm surprised I found them all. Alright, so we have our target set up. The Ultra Speed is loaded up again. We're going to try to actually see where we're going to be hitting. It's a little hard to aim with this thing, so. Well, fairly better. Accuracy on this thing is not the best. It's really hard to aim. So I think that's a pretty good test of accuracy. So let's move on to the range and speed test. Alright, here we are at the range test. As usual, for context, that frog, that chicken marks 25 feet from where I'm standing. The frog measures 40, and the far back wall, right there, represents 50 from where I'm standing. We have the chronograph set up. with the lights on and see how fast and far this thing will go. Alright, hopefully this thing will pick up due to its rapid fire. So, 87, 90. Okay, about high 80s, low 90s, and about 40 feet. They seem to be landing on the 40-foot mark. Let's go check out those darts where they landed. Alright, so here we have our short starts. That one got stopped by a bush. That one just landed there, probably. We have some darts here. And we have a bunch of darts right here. We got a bunch of them right here. So these went about 40-ish feet, maybe 45. Probably at best 45. But 90 feet per second, like high 80s, low 90s, is not bad. So, yeah. Without all that out of the way, let's move on to my final thoughts. Alright, so what are my final thoughts on the Nerf Ultra Speed? Before we do that, there's a couple of things that we need to go over. The first off is the where I bought it and the price. I personally did not buy this. My mom bought this at Target for $71.99 USD. And the other thing I need to talk about is features I missed. I didn't talk about. I felt like I rushed the talking about the blaster in detail part a little bit too much, so we're going to do it here in the final thoughts section. First off, there is a foregrip. It's a kind of this hollowed out foregrip here. It's a pretty comfortable foregrip. Really balances the blaster better. You know, it's a foregrip. The other thing I didn't mention or didn't show off the use of is the rail. I did show it off a little bit in the accuracy test, but here we have our Super Soaker, scope, and it attaches on there very nicely. Not too hard to put on, not too hard to take off. It has sling attachment points right here on the front sight and right here on the back of the carry handle, which, by the way, speaking of sights, that front sight is kind of useless. You can't really use it. I mean, you kind of can. It's just, why is there like two? I don't get it. Yeah, it's really hard to aim, especially from how high the sight is to the actual barrel. Yeah, so now let's move on to the pros and cons. Those are things I forgot to mention, so move on to pros and cons now. Starting off with the cons of the blaster. So, a couple of the cons. Somewhat of a minor con, this thing's heavy, like really heavy, especially because of those 6C batteries. It is kind of balanced, but it's really rear heavy. However, it is kind of not too much of a problem because pressing it against your shoulder kind of alleviates some of that weight. A big con is this rev trigger. It is really small. Like, I understand it's for 8+, so it can be made into a somewhat smaller trigger, rev trigger, but you know, it's a little small, and it is somewhat uncomfortable to press, especially because it's like has these little like knurling, I guess you could call it. It's a texturing on it that kind of cuts into your skin. It's also really loud, but that just shows that it has a lot of power. So let's move on to a very big con. This con has really nothing to do with the blaster. It has a lot to do with these darts. There's probably hundreds of videos on YouTube reviewing and talking about these darts, usually negative, people negative about these darts. But we're not going to be talking about durability, range, accuracy, speed. We're going to be talking more of the practical, something more practical. If you want to get a 20-pack of Ultra AccuStrike darts from Target, it costs $10.39 USD, which means these are 50 cents a dart. It's 50 cents a dart. which compared to 100 pack of standard darts, usually you'll see prices around maybe $10, sometimes $15, which is a lot cheaper than these. And they can be used in a variety of different blasters, more blasters than just a specific line of blasters. And, you know, makes them more disposable. These, on the other hand, they only work with Nerf Ultra Blasters, which there is not a lot on the market. I mean, there's a couple of them, but not a lot you can buy now because they've discontinued a couple of them in recent history. And it just takes expensive darts. You're already spending a lot of money on this. At $71.99, and you're also spending however much money on batteries for this thing, and then you have to spend more money on replacement darts. Refill packs are way too much, in my opinion. But if you don't want to go for the AccuStrike ones, you can go for the standard ones. I think Target's selling the standard darts, a 20 pack for $7.99. That's still a lot of money for 20 darts. They originally were, I think, $10.99 or $10.39 when they first came out. So they only went down a fraction of their original cost. And of course, these are what you can find in stores. Online, I saw Amazon was selling a 75 pack for 18 something, but still, that's a lot for 75 darts. You know, it's still a lot. But my reviews are made more for people who don't want to buy online, don't want to buy from online sources. They just want to go to the store, buy themselves a blaster, buy themselves some refill, which I do recommend you always do, is when you get a new blaster with a new type of dart, always buy refills, because you're going to lose them, and you know, you lose a bunch of them that come with the blaster, and they're not going to have anything to shoot out of them. So it's always good to buy refill packs, but in this case, it's pretty pricey. So that's my rant with the darts. So let's move on to pros. So what are the pros of this blaster? I personally like the way it looks. It's a very futuristic looking blaster. Very nice. Also, I like how it's full auto. It's a very fun blaster to shoot. And it's quite comfortable, surprisingly, other than the rev trigger. Despite the rev trigger, though, the main trigger isn't terrible. It's not like not really a squishy trigger either. It's a little bit heavy. I think they have a really heavy spring pushing this for some reason. It's a really kind of a heavy trigger, but it's not bad. Sights on this thing, while it's kind of hard to aim, sights aren't too bad. If you were to put this against your body, you can easily look right through here. It's not hard to just look down that. Talk about the magazine. So this is a little bit of maybe an issue for some people. I'm taking out the magazine. When I was taking out the magazine earlier, trying to, you know, check out the blaster a little bit, I had the tendency to hit the other magazine right here and pulling it out. You know, I got used to pulling it out a different direction, so it doesn't do that. But if it ever does, there's rubber pads, so this won't damage the magazine. I think the rubber pads are just for it to help it stand, but I don't know why they have rubber pads for larger Nerf magazines. Anyway, it's a really cool place to put it. I do like how this blaster comes with 2 magazines, because you can't, at least that as far as I know, you can't buy, just leave it out. As far as I know, you can't buy magazines by themselves. Maybe you can in the future, but Nerf isn't offering magazines by themselves right now, even though they've been doing magazine-fed Ultra Blasters for a while. So, on the subject of magazines, a couple of things. I do like the mag release, though the mag release doesn't drop the magazine out. A little shake will just drop it out. It's not a tight fit, very nice, easily enters into the blaster. Another interesting feature with the magazine I didn't show for some reason, probably because I couldn't get it working, but I figured it out. If you were to load, let's say, some darts in here, and you want to, you know, put the blaster away, you don't ever want to leave darts in your blaster because it will ruin the darts. These I'm not too sure, they're like a styrofoam. But the biggest effect will have is on the spring here. It'll weaken the spring because springs don't like to be compressed and stored. So how do you get them out? I mean, you could use the blaster to get them out. It's not too hard. But let's say you don't have a blaster and you just want to empty out your magazine. You can just push on this little latch here. It just shoots them out like that. So you have darts going everywhere. So I'd suggest aiming like down like a box or something. But. So would I recommend this blaster? At its current price, not really. Because 70 to almost 80 probably with batteries. Maybe even 90 if you buy some darts, is a little steep in my opinion for this blaster, especially its ammo type being also really expensive. I wouldn't really. I wouldn't say to just go out. I'd say wait till this thing either goes on sale or price is lower. Also maybe wait till these darts also go on sale or something. Yeah, this is one of those blasters that this is a blaster I actually like. I do like it, and I would recommend it, but if it was cheaper. Because I feel like being 80, almost 90 bucks with batteries is a little bit pricey, so, especially for what you're getting. Yeah. So that'll be the end of the review. Comment down below your thoughts on this blaster. Comment down below what else you want to see on this channel. Be sure to check out my Nerf Fortnite compact as a machine, and be sure to check out the playlist of all my other reviews. I'll have both of those linked at the end of the video. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.